CORSO and CATONE.
Well, listen, Mark, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to then?
Presented by Specials Off Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and CORSO Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, CORSO and CATONE.
Welcome back to CORSO and CATONE, the real deal New England feel. I'm CORSO. CATONE is with us. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
There he is.
Hello.
Hey, hi, Joe. We're all back.
Hey, Joe.
And you're back with us, too, watching us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, listening. And, hey, you can watch us live right now on Podbean. So, hey, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast. And check us out on Twitter, at CORSO_CATONE. And, of course, our heated hotline's back, 855-313-PATS. Give us a call, leave us a message, have a take. Joe tells me it's a good one today.
Oh, all right. I can't wait to hear it. It's been a while since we've had a heated hotline. We've been on vacation.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. So listen, call in. We want to pick yours. So 855-313-7287. Got a good one today. Going to talk Yankees versus Red Sox. They're up, 4-0, the Yankees right now.
I don't even know if it's Yankees, Red Sox anymore. Red Sox are terrible.
Well, we're going to talk about that. And, of course, Catone's comments. He's chomping at the bit. Hey, you had a lot of time, so we expect a lot today out of Catone's comments. And we're going to hear from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. And the real deal, training camp is here. The Patriots ready. Mark and I are going to discuss that. Gentlemen,
Hey.
How was your break?
Wonderful. I got this foolish thing still. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I still got this foolish thing on my wrist from falling off the ladder, but I feel great. I'm ready to go.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, we're doing great. Getting excited for the new season.
Absolutely. And we
got in the Pats Nation.
I can't wait.
In there. Oh my God. And we're going to talk about the Pats Nation a little bit later in the show. Joe's got a little thing to show us. So what do you say we talk some Yankees, Red Sox?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it.
It's been a little bit of a while. Yeah.
You always like that, Joe. You always like that. So, Mark, we talk Yankees versus Red Sox. Mark actually brought it up a little bit just for a second, saying it doesn't seem to be Yankees versus Red Sox anymore. Talk about two teams going in complete different directions. Yeah. And there was a little bit, right, Mark? Where
it looked like they were making it,
gain some traction. But, we should start with the Yankees. So let's start with the Yankees. Mark, we kept talking about whether or not this is sustainable throughout the season. Now here we are after the All-Star break. Over how many games in? Over 100 at least. And this is how they're going to be. This is it, isn't it?
This is it. It has been sustainable. They have not played as well, I'd say, the last 15 games or so, though, as they played earlier, right? They've had some hiccups. They've had some bullpen hiccups, some issues in the back end of the bullpen. But for the most part, they've been keep rolling. The only thing is, I really don't want to see Houston in the playoffs as a Yankee fan, because it's just a bad matchup for the Yankees. But in regards to the Yankees, they're going to win the division, and they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed in the playoffs. I mean, hopefully we're the 1 seed and we get home field advantage, and everybody has to come to Yankee Stadium if it's a 7-game series for 4. But, Chris, Jesus, they're still getting hitting, from the key guys. Granted, they're not doing the small ball and stealing bases. They did a little bit more at the beginning of the year, which does scare me come playoff time. But, Chris, what about Aaron Judge?
All right, look, you had a golden opportunity. And, Mark said it. Look, for all the crap I give him and he gives me, we are on point. He said it before the season or just beginning. Pay this guy. They were talking prior to the season. Pay him now. What would have been? What do you say? What would have been $30 million?
They were battling over like 30 or 40 million. Now it's going to be 140 million extra.
Absolutely, and deservedly so. I mean, he's going to get it. If there's anybody in
on that bandwagon, I called it is going to be like a free agent season for him.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
basically is. And
It is.
forget Trout, forget these guys. This is the guy.
This is the
I mean,
guy
he's
right
getting
now.
the Triple Crown. He's gonna, he's walking away with the MVP. I mean, I
He
can't
should.
imagine.
He should.
And so, yeah, forget Ohtani right now. I mean, Judge is the guy.
He has 10 home runs, Chris, in his last 11 games.
Yeah, and he tied Babe Ruth for the most home runs before August.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty good company to be in. And Mattingly, what?
Mattingly for the 10 and 11 games. The only other person Yankee to do that is Mattingly.
Right. So look, you're right. You're gonna have to pay that guy, and he doesn't look like he's gonna be letting up anytime soon. But Mark, when you go a little deeper in,
yep.
They made a move. They brought in Benintendi, and which I listen to the dismay of all Boston fans out there because they're pissed off because that Benintendi deal over to KC had something to do with Frenchie Cordero too, right?
It absolutely did. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. It was a great deal for the Yankees because they really didn't give up any of their real, high-end talent. They gave up some guys from single A who could be prospects, but they're not their top-end prospects. So they didn't touch the guys that they don't want to get rid of. They didn't have to give any of those guys up. So it was a great deal for the Yankees.
Yeah. It's good outfield help. It's good contact. Yeah. He's a good contact hitter. When you talk about some of that small ball, he's a guy that you can put in the lineup that can do a little bit of that.
And he can steal some bases as well.
If you look into it, and I want to know your thoughts on any type of concerns. First of all, I mean, are there any other moves to make at this point? I got a few days left to the deadline.
Well, everybody kept saying the kid could steal from the Reds, and he went yesterday to Seattle. So the Yankees aren't going to give up. There's 3 or 4 guys that I really don't think the Yankees want to give up for prospects because they think that they're going to take them to that next generation, next 10 years, right? Yeah. So if they're going to give up any of those guys, I don't know if they're going to make a deal at the trade deadline. But I do think I would like to see them bring in some pitching, Chris, maybe another starter, right? I know they're talking about this kid from Oakland. There was a couple of other guys they were talking about. If they could bring in another starter who's not a number 1 starter, but a 4th or 5th starter to give them some depth back there, I would try to do that, I think. I don't know about what you think about that, but you can never have enough starting pitching, especially in the playoffs.
I agree. And, with the way the playoffs go and the way the game is today, and you and I have been talking about that for months and months and months, about guys needing to step in. Look, when you get in the playoffs, you saw it last season.
Yeah.
Everybody's on hand. That's it. You may come in the second inning. You may come in the third inning. You're
right. So the more starters you got, you let them throw 30, 35, 40 pitches apiece. You just keep rolling them out.
Yeah. I mean, and I think if they're going to bring another starter in, let it be a guy that, maybe pitches from the stretch a little. Maybe he's a guy that you can bring in the 3rd, 4th inning, if somebody's going bad in the playoffs. And speaking of going bad at periods of time, that's a great segue to the question I've been wanting to ask you all week, really, since the Baltimore game, was Cole. Everybody's Cole, he's the best in Cole. But when I look into this, I see the last 2 starts, and I'm looking at the Baltimore game and the one last night. He looks like he's cruising every game, right? Then he'll get to an inning and he'll just the bottom just falls out. It happened against Baltimore where they ended up losing that game. Baltimore came back like 5 down.
Bit in the Houston series too. I think it happened against Houston too.
Yeah. And then last night, all 5 of those runs, they won 11-5, but all 5 of those runs came in the 5th inning and he just hit the wall.
Yeah, he hit the wall.
Is that something we should be concerned about moving forward?
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, Chris, right? So I went back and looked at some of that, right? Last night I was saying to myself, well, what's going on here? It seems like he hits the wall between 75 and 100 pitches. So that range of 75, 80 to 100 is where I don't know if he just gets tired. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not, he doesn't have the depth and the length that he used to have. I don't, listen, he's thrown a lot of innings when he was with Houston, those playoff runs, even his first couple of years with the Yankees. Maybe you're going to start to use, and you mentioned this to me before the show, Chris, about the analytics. Explain a little bit about that. You said maybe you're going to start to use some analytics with this guy.
You don't want to, but maybe you have to because Mark, it's consistently happening now. Now Mark fills us in its last 3 starts. So, I mean, yeah, maybe you may have to use the analytics when you get to a certain pitch count and pull them.
Yeah, not that he's going to like that because he's an animal, but you may have to do it, Chris.
Well, if he doesn't like it, clean it up.
Yeah.
Clean it up. Don't let the bottom fall out then.
Damn,
mean,
smoking like a hot ass coach, Joe.
what the frick? Clean it the hell. Don't come to
Clean it up.
sideline. Don't come to the dugout and sideline and tell me, I'm upset by it. Upset by it. Get your ass out there and stop friggin' falling apart. Mark, injuries though. You got.
Stanton's injury scares me, Chris, because when they say, "Oh, what is it? A sore Achilles, something."
Yeah. Always something with it.
Always something, but that Achilles, that makes me nervous because that could be weeks.
How about King? Is that an issue for you?
Well, King's that hurts, Chris. He was the best setup man in baseball, not just the Yankees. The best setup man in baseball. That's a tough loss. That's a tough loss.
And they put him on what, a 60-day?
Yeah, they said that he doesn't have UCL. It's not a UCL. They kind of dodged that bullet, but he's got a fractured elbow, so he'll be out. They said they're hoping he's ready for spring training next year, but he may not be.
Well, that may be a point of emphasis in the next
at the trade deadline. If you could get somebody, you need a setup man.
And then Hicks got dinged up.
Hicks got dinged up, and I think Benedetti coming in helps with that a little bit, right? The fact that Hicks got dinged up, you got a little bit of depth now in that outfield. But Joey Gallo is he officially going now or not yet?
I don't know. If
he's bad.
Not, he should. Yeah, I mean,
oh my God.
That's something you've been talking about too. Every time he text. And by the way, back to the Houston thing. Every single time they're playing Houston, it's real funny. I have to mention it because, I'm watching the game. Mark and I hadn't talked all day since like the day before or whatever, but I know he's watching it. I know he's watching it. And all of a sudden, the two texts came in simultaneous. Me to him, he to me, both saying the same thing. I don't want any part of Houston. I don't want any part of the Astros. And you know what? You're right, Mark. You're right. So let's see what happens. If there's a move to be made, it needs to be to fill some. I agree with you with pitching. It needs to be to fill some of that setup role. Maybe a starter that can work later in the innings too, and see what happens there. Marking on the other side, that's the good. Now the bad and the ugly is talking about the Red Sox, and they're in a tight spot now because they're sitting there in that situation where they could still make a play for the wild card.
So now I think they've become sellers, Chris. I don't think they're buying.
Think so.
I don't think they're buying at this point.
And so what are they selling?
Well, the rumor is JD Martinez is that they're willing to move on from him because I think he's going at the end of the year anyways, probably. Do they move Bogarts?
I think you got to, if you look, here's the problem.
He's going to opt out. I'm almost positive. They're almost positive, Chris.
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
we talked to says he's opting out and he's going to test the waters.
He sees it.
So they're not going to pay him. So are you just going to let him go at the end of the year and get nothing for him?
He sees it, Mark. He sees the sinking ship. Don't think, look, there's a conflict between coach and general manager. I don't mean a personal conflict. I mean a philosophical conflict. You can't have a guy coaching analytically and not put the big guns around him. If you're going to be Hein Bloom, tell me if I'm wrong, but if you're Hein Bloom and you want that Tampa philosophy and that small market deal in a big marketplace, well, then you got to have a different type of coach, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. So when you want to play that analytics game, right? So, but you're going to do it with lesser talent, not the Red Sox talent that you've had in the past.
Yep.
Look at Joe Madden. Joe Madden was the coach for Tampa. Well, you could put those guys out there because Joe Madden could coach them up, and he always coached them up. The teams that do that have guys that can be coached up. The Red Sox, Chris, the year they won it with Cora, with the notebook and the iPad, he had a team of superstars. He had Betts. He had Martinez in his prime. He had Bogarts. He had Devers. He had a team of superstars. Of course they won.
They were cheating.
They
were cheating anyway.
And they were cheating on top of it.
We're gonna get heated hotline calls up the ass.
I wasn't going down the cheating line. But Chris, think about it. You bring up a great point. Is he that type of a manager, Chris? If you're going to give him to play this type of team, is he the right manager? What do you think?
It doesn't look like that. It certainly doesn't look like that. And I'll tell you what, when you go back to that championship, right? And all the talk, Cora, look, could have been Farrell. I mean, because since that time, yeah, they've been good. They've skirted, they've gotten to the ALCS, they've done things like that, but not over the top. And now you're starting to see, like you say, as soon as they bring this general manager in, it's doing the downslide. So either you got to get a manager that the problem, Mark, is how do you sell that? You can't. The people are pissed. I mean, you people out there in the nation, pissed, and I don't blame you because it's a big market team.
And you know what? No one's talking about is that. So they keep saying, well, Heim Bloom has rebuilt the system, the minor league system that Dombrowski ruined. They got a lot of young talent, this and that. Well, Jesus Christ, Chris, how many young guys have they brought up? None of them show me anything. So where are these young guys? Are they in single A? You got to wait 3 years for them to come up? Because all these guys they've been bringing up, Chris, are young guys. You would assume they're prospects. They don't look like Major League Baseball players. So if that's the youth that he brought in, well, then what the hell? Then John Cora can't be the manager of those guys because he's not making those guys any better.
No, and you know what? It's sort of like the Oakland A's too, back in the day, the Billy Bean days, where they would. That was like the farm system for the Yankees, and the Red Sox and teams like that, and the Cubs, because they were able to develop. But you're right, on both ends, they're having issues. Now they're talking about this prospect. I don't remember his name for first base, right?
Yep.
You talked about that a little bit. So let's see him.
They better hope they hit on him because you've allowed first base to become a joke for the last 2 years. Because suppose you got the prospect. Well, they better hope he hits because if you don't hit, you really have looked like an idiot. Look like an idiot.
Yeah, and you know what? They became sellers when they allowed 28. Mark, when they allowed 28 runs in that game, and I wasn't really watching all of it. You texted me and said they just gave up 25 in.
Listen,
whatever.
If George Steinbrenner Sr., the father, was the owner of this team, Alex Cora would have been fired the next day. 28 runs on your home field, fired. Immediately fired. You would have fired him. He wouldn't have had a job Monday after Tuesday. Well, I don't know what the game was, a Saturday. Sunday afternoon, he wouldn't have been on the field with the team. He would have been fired.
He would have gone after him. He would have come down from the to the friggin' dugout like Billy Martin and gone after him.
Yep, yeah, 28 runs.
It looked like Ringling Brothers out there. I mean, it was like
the center fielder.
That's what I felt hearing when that was all happening. Guys dropping balls, falling.
And my son brought this up to me. He said, "Dad, the bases were loaded. The center fielder." He said obviously wasn't focused. And he said because there was no way he was focused. He misplayed that ball so bad. He said he was probably looking somewhere else, not paying attention to the pitch, and the ball's hit to him. He said because the way he reacted, he had no clue where the ball was. He didn't just lose it in the lights. He had no idea where the ball was going off the bat because he wasn't watching. Then you don't even try to make an attempt to turn and run for a ball. Nothing.
That was such a bad look.
Chris, he had no clue. He didn't know if the ball was hit the right field, left field, center field. He didn't even know the ball was hit the center field, the kid.
Yeah.
Okay? So that was such a bad look. That kid should have immediately been sent down to the minor leagues. He's still playing, Chris.
That was tough. That was a tough look. And look, I know you have a bad moment. You have a real bad moment. It happens. We were athletes.
No, I get it.
But you know what pisses me off a little bit about that? Your son, and by the way, Mark's son is a hell of a baseball player. Multi-tool, third base, first base, can hit. What a sweet swing. Anyway, he's seeing it. Yeah. He's seeing the fact that it may not have been just the lights and all that. I didn't hear that anyway. I didn't hear that anywhere, from any of the experts, any of the people coming by, Tomasi, any of these guys. It was a focus issue, flat and plain and simple. Yes, we all lose balls in the light. I don't think that was it either.
No, the way he reacted, Chris, he had no clue where the ball. He had no clue that ball was hit the center field. No clue.
Yeah, and and he's the scapegoat for that whole situation. It seemed. Yeah. But let's not forget they allowed 24 more runs in that game. That was atrocious, and that to me is the moment they became sellers.
Yeah.
I listen to some of these guys say, well, let's see what happens by this, Tuesday, if they're still sniffing around at the wild. Get the hell out of here, sniffing around at the wild card. Break it down. Sell it off. You're not going to, so what? So you get into the wild card and then you go on the road and get your brains kicked in for a game?
Chris, I heard a good story this week. The GM, Charrington, I think, is he with San Diego now? Ben Charrington, I think. But I think so. Okay, so when he was there, they had Brock Holt, and Brock Holt was kind of like major league player, not a superstar, but he was a serviceable major league player who played. I don't know if he's still around, but he played for several years. And at the time, he got traded to Oakland. He got traded to Oakland first. And so somebody brought up
third base.
He played multiple positions, third base, second base. He played outfield, right? And they brought up the Chennington. They said, why did you trade him? He looks like he could do something. He said, he's a major league baseball player. He said, but not in this market. He said, not for the Boston Red Sox. And I said to myself, oh my God, that's so opposite of what their philosophy is now. Now that's all they want to put on the field, Chris.
Right. That's the problem. And that's what's pissing people off in the nation out in New England and look, this city, Boston, that's baseball. This is a baseball town. It's always going to be a baseball town, and that's what it is. And that's the real deal. And here's, and the deal is the people are pissed because they're not a small market team. They don't want to be a small market team. No. And lastly, Mark, we were how right were we on Sale? I gotta say it because you know what, Joe, we gotta tell how good right and bright we are over here, right? Sale, we talked about this. We said, get him out. He'll have a good start. He'll get into the next start. Something will happen. Tweak this bothers him, and then he's done. And there we are.
There we are. Line drive. Granted, it was a fluke, but you knew something was happening, right?
It's always a fluke. No, on him. It's not as bad, but it just seems to always happen. With him. And so he's not reliable. So we'll see what happens down the stretch. I am very interested to see if they're selling and what they're selling. But you know what, guys? I'm more interested right now to see what Mr. CATONE has up his sleeve where he's had weeks and weeks to prepare. We say we're back. Well, he's back with CATONE's comments, and that's next.
Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, huh? Startups, finance, train them, trust them, and let them lead. With your host, Marcus Aurelius. Tune in to Special Sauce Podcast, wherever you podcast. What's your special sauce? Time for CATONE Comments!
Okay, so those of you who've been watching us, listening to us, you know that I had a little mishap. I fell off a ladder, I fractured my wrist. Hey, listen, it happens, right? However, during this downtime, the heat of the summer, well, of course, we've done some vacationing and different things, but my wife gets the idea. She wants to get some kind of a case, something to put something in the garage. She wants, whatever. This piece of furniture, whatever. So she drags me. Chris, I don't know if you have an IKEA's out in Arizona, right? So.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we got them in Massachusetts, not on Rhode Island. So she takes me there. Okay, so we go there. She's looking for this. She knows supposedly the piece she wants. Now, granted, I got this thing on my wrist. So you get there. They got these arrows on the floor. They say, go this way, go that way. It's like you're playing one of those Candyland games, one of those board games. You're going all over the joint. You don't know where the hell you're going. First of all, they got all these arrows, right? So, of course, the direction they're taking you, she sees 7 other things that she wants, 7 other things. That would be good enough. Maybe we could put that in a bathroom here, there. Because now she's still getting all these trinkets, right? Because we're not done. We did the whole goddamn house. We're not done. No, why would we be done? So now she gets a couple of different things. Okay. Bring it home. Who the hell's going to see, you get what you pay for. It's the old adage, you get what you pay for. Go to the store, buy a piece of furniture, whatever you're going to buy, have it delivered. It's there. Set it up. Done. No. She wants to go to this foolish place, right? You're going to put the goddamn stuff together. I got one goddamn hand. You want me to put it together? Okay. I take it out of the box. Well, first of all, you pull out the goddamn directions, right? I told her, get me the phone number for the goddamn UN. This is another language. I don't know what the hell it is. Call the UN. Maybe somebody can translate the United Nations. I can't read these goddamn directions to put this thing together, right? And then, of course, to put it together. They give you the Allen wrench. Who the hell ever named it the Allen wrench? Allen wrench. I want to put it and try to straighten it, heat it up and straighten it. Anyways, I can't. So now she's got me doing this with one goddamn hand on top of it. I swear it was vacation time. I swear she did it just to bust my beans, right? So now we get it all set up and ready to go. We put it. Oh, you know what? I don't like it. Maybe you should take it apart and we'll take it back. I said, well, no. I said, I don't care where you put it. Put it in the basement. I don't care where you put it. I am not taking this thing apart and putting it back and sending it back to that foolish damn store. So now she wants to put shelves up. Shelves. Okay. So now she said, well, we need a few shelves. Okay. Well, I got my payback. So I happened to step out. I had to get something else. She's doing shelves. My son's helping her. Him. Good thing he goes to college because he's not doing anything. He's not doing manual labor. She's trying to do something with the shelf. He says, you can't do it. I'll drill it in. You're not strong enough to drill it in. He's drilling it. She's sitting on something. He doesn't realize she's sitting on it. He puts his foot against it to anchor himself to put the screw in the sheetrock. He kicks the thing out from under her. She falls on the floor. Bang! Right? That's payback.
Oh boy!
For laughing at me falling off the ladder. So, bottom line, I need to work. I need to do CORSO and CATONE and Pat's Nation. I need to be busy. I can't have free time because she gets me involved in these foolish projects and sends me to these foolish places. And on top of it, I got a broken wrist. I need to be busy. Forget vacation. Who needs vacation? Unless I'm on a tropical island all by myself, eating coconuts and feeding my face with a drink in my hand and my toes in the water. I don't want to go on vacation. I don't want vacation. That's it.
What's that we're playing?
This is Candyland, a place
Oh,
you pretend to visit when you play this game. The cards
Joe.
show you to follow the path
Joe,
through
you gotta
Candyland.
bust my beans, Joe.
The gingerbread plum tree.
Listen, first of all, okay, Mark, Joe, we have got to get his wife on the show.
Oh, we're bringing her on. We're going to bring her on.
Because she's taken a beating for the last year, okay? Almost weekly, okay? Almost weekly. But this guy, you know what, Mark, you're going to end up actually in a body cast. That's pretty. But we're going to have a show. He'll still do the show, too. The show must go on, right?
I had to bring this up because we've been on vacation. We've been off. And of course, it's another one of these places she sends me to. But I got one hand. You want me to put stuff together?
And you know what? Hey,
you can't read. The directions are unreadable. The directions are unreadable.
I have to agree, Joe, too. We got to agree with Mark. Look, honestly,
yeah.
and you all out there, everyone out there, I hate IKEA because I'm sorry, they're not a sponsor anyway. Screw them. I hate that because their pieces are different languages. Nothing wrong with different languages, but I live here. I got to speak the language I speak. And yeah, you can't read it. You don't know what the hell's going on. And how many times, Mark, do you stare at the page for like 20, 30 minutes? You're looking at this damn thing and you're like, but this makes no sense.
It's like you're playing Pictionary because you got to guess. You got to look at the pictures and guess.
And he's right. This is what they give you. For those of you on iHeart listening, you can't see this, but I'm holding up an Allen wrench. This is what they give you.
The worst.
How the hell are you going to do? Go over there like,
the world's the worst, Chris.
Breaking your hands, trying to do all kinds of things. You know, Mark, they have tools now, though, that have this sort of thing on it.
Yeah, I was told that a few different times by my wife. A few times.
Why don't you should get yeah, that's just what you want to hear too. You know. Oh, that you know what? Like I said, Joe, we got to get her on because.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can attest to this though, honestly, with Mark and his wife, because I told you when he was on his way to the hospital about 20 minutes before the show was before we were recording it, I get that call that he's on the way to the hospital with the wrist, and I'm talking to his wife, and all she's doing is complaining of what a moron he is and what an inconvenience it is. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, get around the show, get around the show. But yeah, mentioned Ringling Brothers for for the Red Sox. Yeah, no, this is Ringling Brothers. What was going on over there, putting that stuff together, Mark? Very good. You're so right. You're too right. And, Joe, we need to protect our asset over here. We
certainly do.
Can't let him be falling off ladders and trying to put things together and his neighbor attacking him and snow and leaves. And we can't have that, Mark. Driving schools, So you better start taking care of yourself, pal.
Listen.
You better get it together.
Yeah, I got to do something. My God.
Excellent, Mark. Good stuff. Catone's comments was presented by Studio 42 Designs. Studio 42 Designs in North Providence for all your graphic design needs. And you know what? We've heard from Mark. Now we want to hear from one of you in the nation in Heated Hotline. Joe, we ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hey, this is Frankie calling in from North Providence. Just a take on the Jaylen Brown. The Celtics want to trade Jaylen Brown and everything. I just think it's a bad move for the Celtics trying to get KD. I think you try out what's happening with Brogdon. You just got Gallinari. Don't try to much. Now you release all the information. Jaylen Brown out saying, shake my head. And I think the only way that the Celtics keep Jaylen Brown from getting his head out of the game is the fans who keep wanting him there and are complaining, like myself, that the trade won't work. Either getting rid of him or Marcus Smart, which we've heard a bad idea. You try with what you got with the Brogdon and Gallinari, and that's all you got to do.
So, Frankie, thank you from North Providence. We appreciate that call, that Heated Hotline. Yeah, Mark, it's well, first of all, let's talk about this.
I know you like that cake. I know you like that cake.
You don't know what I'm going to say. I have no idea. I texted you. I texted Mark as soon as the story broke. I still haven't heard back from him on that.
I know what he wants.
So to get everybody up to speed, earlier in the week, talking about it's been about a month now.
It's been about a month. So did you like those two free agents that Frankie mentions, Gallinari and Brogdon?
All right, well, we'll start there. So the Celtics. Well, let me set it up. Let me let the people know what the hell we're even talking about right now. Yes, Gallinari and Brogdon. I like the two pickups. Yes, and they picked both of those guys up. I think the guard. He comes to the table with. Remember when we got White, and I said it's going to push Smart a little bit. Well, this kid coming in is better than that. He's a starter. He was a starter on his team. He could start here if he needed to. Yeah. So it kind of makes Smart. You can gamble with him and moving him.
Yep.
With this guy in the lineup. Either White or Smart, and then you'll have what you need over there. So, and I like Gallinari because the biggest problem that this team was having was points off the bench, right? I mean, they were having some issues with that, and I think Gallinari will provide some of that for them, and that needed depth, and it takes that second line, that second group, and it just improves. It just makes them better at the guard spot, and at the forward. So, to me, that's a good pickup. But this story with the Durant situation, which is all over the place. He requested a trade about 4 weeks ago, and then it kind of died down. And all of a sudden, the Celtics, I don't know who leaked it. I would assume it's the Nets, to drive pricing. But the Celtics evidently come into the picture with Jaylen Brown and a package deal with maybe White, Brown, and some picks, right? This is what happened.
That's what was reported.
So a lot to unwrap there. The caller says, no. Let's not deal with that. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, the caller says roll with what you have, right? Yeah. So roll with Brogdon, Gallinari, and the other ancillary pieces you have, and he thinks that's enough. Well, here's my thing. So you ended up getting the trade exemption for the Fournier deal, which was like $17, $18 million, and you did nothing with that, okay? A deal didn't work out. Whatever, you blew you let the 18 million out the door. Okay, so Brown, I see in a very similar fashion because Brown has made some comments here and there since the NBA championship ended, Chris, about the fact that he kind of, I think, wants to be the man and wants to be step up and be the focal point and it's my team. Well, it isn't his team. It's Tatum's team, and it's going to be Tatum's team. Okay, so I don't know, Chris, if Brown and this is my reasoning. I don't know if Brown is ever going to be okay with playing second fiddle to Tatum. I think he wants to be the lead dog, and he wants to have a team built with him as the centerpiece because he thinks he has that kind of talent. With that being said, if you don't move him or trade him, you're going to end up just like you did with the trade exemption. He's going to leave as a free agent. You're going to get nothing. You're going to have nothing in return for Jaylen Brown. So I won't trade him for just anything. But Jesus, if you could figure out a way not to mortgage too many players or too many picks, and you can get Kevin Durant for a deal like you just mentioned, maybe throw somebody one other pick or something in, and it's reasonable. Well, yeah, hell, I make the deal because I'm going to be honest with you. You absolutely will win a championship with Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and the guys that they have. You'll win a championship, at least one, probably two, because Durant will give you 3 or 4 years of good basketball if you bring him here. So I don't know if he wants to come here, but my reasoning is because if you're going to lose Brown for nothing, what the hell, Chris? If he wanted to stay here, great. Give him an extension. Okay, fine. But I don't think he wants to be here.
So when you look at the lineup, what I'm hearing from you is guy for guy, they're better with Durant. Durant's a better player.
In my opinion, yes. And I could be wrong. Now. Today, in my opinion, yes. In my opinion.
Okay. So, I mean, yeah, look, Durant's a top. We keep everybody talks about you can't backpedal off it now. Nobody out there can. He's one of the top 3-4 players in the league.
Yes,
is Durant when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, and yeah, that's a big if.
Okay, when he's healthy. So yes, guy for guy, they're better with Durant. Had Durant been in that final, and I understand that Jaylen Brown was the best player in the finals, but that wasn't saying a hell of a lot from Game 3 on.
No,
And so is Durant make them better for the immediate future? Year, 2 years? Yeah, absolutely. I think you win a couple of championships. To me, and I want to know in a second what your thought is on Jaylen Brown's response to all of this, which is the huge news too. All that, cryptic friggin' tweeting, SMH and all, shake my head and all that crap.
Yeah.
But when I look at this situation, I don't look at it like it's a Jaylen Brown issue.
Okay.
I do. I agree with you 1,000%. He's not going to re-sign here. I don't care what he says. I don't care if the two of those guys, Tatum and Brown, sit in an interview for 3 hours, kissing each other. I really don't care. The bottom line is Mark is right. When this thing comes due, he's gone. He's going to become the number one on another team somewhere, probably a crappy team. Okay. Yep. And that's what's going to end up happening to him. So you lose him for nothing. So in that regard, I agree with you that, that's where Brown comes into play. But to me, it's more about Durant. It's more about looking at Durant into what you're bringing in, because I do the deal. If you're saying to me, guy for guy, health, everything being equal as far as health goes, yeah, you got to do this deal. You have to. But when I look at Durant, there are some huge red flags for me when I see this. And some of it has to do not so much about the basketball talent as the mental aspect of it. Mm-hmm. You look at this guy and look at his road to where he is now. Look at where he's traveled. He couldn't get it done as the man in Oakland, OKC, okay? He then goes to Oakland. He then goes to the Warriors, who were already set up, right? They were already set up. He wins with them, but he doesn't win with them as one of the centerpieces, not the centerpiece. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fine. Gets it done there. He says bye to them. I'm not, I need to get out of here now. I need to go. So he's not that, doesn't stick. Then he goes to Brooklyn, and here's the issue that's going on here. Can't get them to do anything. And all of a sudden, he's injured. He's out. He looks lackadaisical at times. Looks like he doesn't really want to be there. For all the friendship he is with Kyrie, it still didn't seem to work. So I worry about the mental aspect of him walking into this team. What is he going to do to this team? What's he going to do to the mental makeup? Is this another Kyrie situation?
Mm-hmm.
Are you bringing in Kyrie again?
Okay.
And is he going to get like bored with it at some point and want to move on somewhere else? To say nothing about what he thinks of the city. You know, nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the comments he's talked about against Boston itself. You know, but we are the real deal. So we are going to bring that up. So does he even want to be here? Does he even like it here? Or is it a pit stop to somewhere else? So that's, to me, the issue with bringing in Durant. But if you wipe all that off the table and you're just talking basketball, yeah, I want championships. I want championships now. Because to be honest with you, if they don't do it and they don't win now, is Tatum even going to be here? If they can't get over the top.
So my other thing is this, Chris. If you don't make the deal, because then they said they wanted Marcus Smart in the deal. They wanted all kind of guy. Well, listen. So if you don't make the deal, okay, fine. You come back, you roll with the new guys, as the caller Frankie said. You roll with the new guys. You roll with what you have, Tatum and Brown and Horford and all these guys and Smart. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. But then at the end of this year, I think Brown then has one more year left on his contract.
Right.
So then, at the end of this year, if you don't think you're going to be able to get to do anything with him as far as extensions, I still think, now that he signed his extension max deal with them, I still think the window has not closed on the Bradley Beal deal. I still think at the end of this coming year, you could now say, okay, Washington, you finished 20 games out of the playoffs again. Listen, we're going to give you a younger guy because he's younger than Beal. We'll give you some couple of picks. We'll throw some picks in. We want Beal. And maybe it's not Durant, but it's Beal, who we know gets along with Tatum. And Tatum will sign an extension to be with Beal. And maybe that's the route to go, because I do think at the end of this season, you're going to have to make a decision on Brown, and I think Beal is still there on the table. Because I understand he signed that extension, but if Washington loses, I think they're exchanging a star for a star. It's not, a younger star.
These contracts mean nothing.
No,
and the length of these contracts mean nothing.
They mean nothing. But I do think at the end of this year, you could revisit that Beal deal, Chris.
Yeah, and as I should say, the contracts mean nothing to me, which is why I'm concerned about Tatum moving on.
Yeah.
And basically taking the same Durant idea that we haven't won here, I'm out. So listen, and as far as so I do the deal, but I really think you gotta, the situation with this guy and the mental state, that could be.
And you talk about chemistry, Chris, and what Durant does by coming here. Well, what's the chemistry going to be like now that Brown knows that you shopped them? Now, what does this chemistry look like next basketball? We're not going to answer that question now, but I think that's something at some point we need to address.
But real quick with the SMH, that shake my head, and he put it out there so everybody would wonder what the hell's he shaking his head about. Hey, look, you know what? That pisses me off. Look, you should be flattered that you're being mentioned in a deal with Durant. Okay, he's one of the best players in basketball, top 2-3 players, and you're being mentioned in the trade as bait to get him here. So therefore, that you must be good. Yeah. So be flattered by it. Shut your mouth and be a professional, because that's what you are. You're a professional basketball player, not a college basketball player. Everybody's on the table. Everybody's on the table to be moved so that we can get better. That's it. That's the bottom line. So get over it. Shut up. And if you get traded to Brooklyn, show us. Go show us why we're wrong. Right?
No, I agree. But you brought up chemistry with Durant. I wonder what the chemistry of Boston's going to be now that Brown knows he was on the block. I don't know.
Well, then, if that's the case, then you know what? I don't think there's much mental makeup there, to begin with anyway. So we'll talk in the coming weeks about this. We'll see if the deal gets done. But, Heated Hotline was presented by CORSO Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, CORSOLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. When we come back, hey, it's training camp, and that's the real deal, and that is next.
time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. CORSO Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CORSOLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. And listen, it's training camp time. The Patriots are in camp. What's this team going to look like? What's the depth of this team? Who should be on it? Those are the questions. That's the real deal. Joe, let's have it.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England feel. It's going to be real.
So they opened up training camp this past, Wednesday?
Yeah.
A few days ago. And there are, look, everybody's already starting in with the Patricia, who's calling the plays. I mean, that didn't last very long, did it?
No, because they said he was the one who had he was calling plays day one, right? Chris he was the main guy. I don't know.
Right.
Who knows?
Right. And then Bill ended up doing that yesterday. So, but look, your impression so far, I mean, let's start with Mac Jones. What do you think? What are you looking at him?
Listen, I think he obviously he's much more prepared, knows the playbook, has a better command of the offense, is gonna be a leader on the field, Chris, from day one this year, and I think he has shown a lot of that already. Has he been perfect? No, he's thrown a couple of picks. He's had a couple of situations where he's going 0 for 7, 0 for 8 in some drills, right? But I think Mac Jones is poised to have a better year. I think he's physically in better shape. I think mechanically he's better. He spent an offseason with House. Belichick even mentioned the fact how good he looked coming in. So, Mac Jones, I think, Chris, is ready for a breakout. No, I shouldn't say a breakout season. He played well as a rookie. But Devontae Parker, I think, gives him something he did not have last year, Chris. And I know all the haters out there are going to say, Parker, he's this. Listen, Parker's a legitimate talent, Chris. In my opinion, I think the kid's legitimate, and I think he's going to give him something he did not have last year.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that with Mac Jones and how he looks, and also his command of the team and the offense, and as far as his leadership. You could see him out there just, running the ship. He stops plays. Nobody stops plays with Belichick.
Yesterday, Chris.
There's only one guy that used to do that.
Chris, yesterday or this morning.
And it took him like 5 years to do it.
Might have been this morning's practice, Chris. Speaking of what you're saying about taking control, he threw a pick six. I think it was this morning. I was reading it. And he threw a pick six to Duggar to end practice.
Oof.
And they said he was visibly pissed off at himself as they were going into the tunnel to leave practice. To rip this helmet off, walked by everybody, didn't look at anybody, talk to anybody. It took himself into the back area. He was visibly upset with himself for the throw.
You know what? And I love that. And Belichick loves that.
Yeah.
And people are getting on Belichick because he was basically gushing over him in the press conference. Look, people out there, let's go back to 2001 and remember he did the same thing with Brady. He said the same stuff. He was that complimentary, all of that stuff, and Brady was at the same kind of level. So Brady wasn't Brady yet. Now he hated, want Bledsoe there, but that's a whole different issue. Yeah. So I agree with Mac Jones. And you talked about some of the weapons, Mark. So does he have enough? I mean, you're talking about the wide receiver room now. Yep, it is better. Okay, I don't know what Aguilar is going to give you, but you got Aguilar. You got Bourne, who I think, to me, right now, Bourne is shining. He's a guy that
you keep saying he's got a breakout year.
Yeah. So Aguilar, Bourne, Myers, Parker, and I assume Thornton, the rookie. So are there enough weapons? And talk to me about Thornton, what you've seen.
Now I know you're now I'm gonna play devil's advocate because
and anything on the offensive side of the ball right now. Let's hear it.
Listen, because I know you have said to me the other day, first of all, guys, listen. practice, day one practice, I'm getting a text from this maniac. Yeah, Thornton can't get off the ball. That was a wasted pick. First practice.
I never said it was a wasted pick.
Yeah, he can't get off. He can't. No, I'm sorry. He said, I hate that. I hated the pick. That's what he said. Right? First practice, he can't get off the ball. Listen, I'm going to use your language from before we went on vacation. They're in T-shirts and shorts. Right? They're in T-shirts and shorts. I am going to say this.
Well, putting the pads on doesn't help. It makes it worse.
No, I think the speed will help him. His speed will help him with the pads on, I think, Chris. But listen, here's my thing. And the more I'm thinking about this pick in Thornton, I don't think Bill Belichick would know what to do with Tyreek Hill. You could put Tyreek Hill on this team, and I don't think Belichick would know what to do with them. I don't think he'd know how to use them.
Yeah.
Because
that's a different issue.
No, it's not a different issue, Chris. If you took Thornton and put him on Kansas City, the kid would be running all over the goddamn field. As a rookie, he'll be running all over the goddamn field. He ain't gonna run all over the goddamn field here.
He's going to have to be able to get off the ball. Look, his speed is his speed, but you got to get free to start using that speed.
I think he will get free, Chris. But how many times do you actually see Tyreek Hill when he was with Kansas City physically line up one-on-one against a corner? Did you ever really? He was always in motion, moving back, forth, this, that, and he would get a head of steam coming off the line.
But he's a guy that can. But he's a guy that can do that.
And
Mark.
I think
that's the type of receiver here.
And I think Thornton can do that.
I mean, you don't do that with an X.
But I don't know if he's necessarily an X, Chris. I think he's more than that. You can use him in different positions in that wide receiver group, X, Y. But I don't think Belichick, that's not our offense, right? So I think Belichick, that's why before the draft, who did I tell you I wanted? Sky Moore,
Sky Moore
or Pickens from Georgia. Those were the two guys I loved. I said I want one of those two guys in Mechie, and you know, our prayers are with him.
That poor guy,
that poor guy, right? But Pickens and Sky Moore, for what they do, fit us better. So I'm really interested in seeing what Thornton does, Chris, because I think that's going to be another black eye against Belichick.
See, and I think Sky Moore is more of the type of receiver that you're talking about with a Debo Samuel or a Hill versus Thornton. Thornton's the length guy. He's a guy that gets off the ball, runs the fade, gets downfield.
Well, we'll see if he can get off the ball, right?
This is the part he's going to have to get coached up on. So, and look, we talked about this when the pick was made. We didn't like the spot that he was picked in, but you like the player. The thing with it, they were a play action team. I don't know if it's anything, if that's going to still be the case coming into the season, but on a play action team, you need a guy to get off the ball and get down the field and use that blazing speed. So they're going to have to work on that, Mark. But I like the wide receiver room.
The kid Wilkinson, Chris, has made a couple of more catches over the last couple of
Nixon
days
too.
That's what I meant. Not Wilkinson. Yeah. I meant to say Nixon. I think Nixon, Chris, is going to make the team.
He could.
I don't see how he doesn't. Well, let's see what he does.
Who's he going to push though?
When they put the pads on.
Yeah.
Let's see what Nixon does when they put the pads on.
Well, because the defensive backs can get more physical, and as far as the running backs go, and the rest of the offense, I love the running back room. I don't think James White's
They said Stevenson came in like leaner and more athletic. He lost 7 pounds, 8 pounds, Chris. They said he looks fantastic, Stevenson.
Well, he may have to be that swing guy. He may have to be that guy out of the backfield because I hate to say this because I love the guy. I don't think James White's going to play it down.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play
Chris,
it down.
then listen, then this is the year that I know Belichick gets pissed off because he can't block. He claims he can't pick up the blitz, but you're going to have to figure out a way to use J.J. Taylor.
Yep, that's your
You're
guy.
going to have to figure out a way to use him. And I do think, and I know you didn't like this pick either, but I do think you can get some leverage out of that P.S. Strong pick too.
I agree. Yeah, you know what? I backpedal on that one. I like him too. Yeah. I think he'll help there. J.J. Taylor got in the doghouse in that Tampa game.
He did. He got in the doghouse.
And I don't think that was fair.
And he never got out of the doghouse.
And the only other thing, Mark, I wanted to mention before, because we'll get back to the other side of the ball, of what we've seen so far, the tight ends, we know what they have. I mean,
what about tackle?
Yeah, this is the thing. The offensive line. Now, we talked about some of these guys being hurt, James White. Well, there's a few other guys on the training camp pup, okay, where they could come off at any time. So you got Andrews on there with a shoulder problem. He had off-field shoulder procedures done. So didn't Jonathan Jones, another key piece on the defense. McMillan, the linebacker, is dealing with ACL and Jabril Peppers.
I think they
Key guys.
activated McMillan the other day.
Okay, so because I think I did see that and he was on the field. So Peppers, White, Stuber for offensive tackle. So when you look at the tackle, let's go to the tackles because I'm happy with the interior. I like the Andrews, Owinu, and the new kid, Strange. I like that. They're athletic and they're going to a zone. We won't get into all that, but we're going to a zone blocking scheme. We'll talk about that another time, explain what that is. But it's the tackles. I see Brown going to left, okay, and Wynn going to right, which is one step out the door. Is that what you see?
Oh, it absolutely is one step out the door. I 100% agree with that, Chris. And if Brown can give you what he gave you the year he was here with Brady, his first year here, you're going to be okay at left tackle. But if he and he's going to stay on the field, right? And keep him away from the Doritos and the French fries and all that shit.
He's such a lazy bastard, man. Let me tell you. I don't. I'm disgusted with that. And Mark, flipping to the other side, because the first couple of days of camp, the offense was having their way, and really, really looking at us defensive backfield as to how bad they were. And so everybody's saying, well, we don't know what the wide receiver room looks like because they're going against our defensive backs. Okay, and so to me, that and linebacker are the two biggest questions. Although they did finish the week strong. They really did.
The defense came on the last couple of practices. They did.
So to me, when you got the depth chart there, it's a little scary because you're going to be relying on these rookies. You're going to be relying on Jones, and also Jones that should be coming off pup, Jonathan Jones.
Chris, you know who got some play in the slot? The kid that you thought last year was a good pickup. The kid Wade from Ohio State has been playing some slot.
Well, I think, again, it's just like because the room is Jawan Williams, who, by the way, Jawan Williams is where he should be. He's been relegated down and almost out.
Nice second-round pick.
Right.
Nice pick. Second-round.
I think Terrence Mitchell is going to be a player there. Okay, I think he may be the boundary.
And that's the kid from Cleveland, right?
Yeah, that he may be the boundary corner. You still got Mills. You still got this Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones to play in the slot. This Wade. Butler he's been running with the twos, Malcolm Butler. But my whole point is, just like the linebacking core, there's so many questions. There's so many question marks. So either this defense within is going to produce and give us what we need, or it's going to be really, really bad. It's got to be one of those two. And this is the first season I've gone into that I can remember where there's that many question marks at those two levels. You?
Yeah, there are. And you know what the scary thing is? Because you're going to need play out of both those levels because teams now, nobody's really lining up playing, everyone's in nickel and dime. That's all you're playing is nickel and dime defenses, right? So guys like Butler are going to probably be on the field even though he's with the second unit because you're going to need a rotation of enough corners where he's going to have to get play.
But I think they've set up their safeties to be able to do those kinds of things.
They did.
They have a good safety room.
I think their safety room, Chris, is the strongest part of the defense.
I do too. And as far as the linebackers go, we'll see. I mean, you're going to be relying a lot on McMillan and Perkins and Uche and Mac Wilson. You know what I mean? Along with Judon on the edge.
I want to see what the kid Mac Wilson gives you, Chris. And I really want to see. Everyone keeps talking about Uche. I want to see
Jennings. Yeah.
Not Jennings. I want to see what this kid Perkins gives you from Oklahoma because I liked him when they drafted him. Remember?
He's an inside guy. He's more of an inside guy.
I want to see what Perkins gives you because I think he has the speed to be able to move and to fill holes. And I want to see what Perkins gives them.
What do you think? And real quick, because I know we're up against it, but on the other side of Judon, isn't it time to see what Jennings can do?
Yeah, it's make or break. Yeah, it's make or break for Jennings. Definitely Jennings. You may have to release him at the end of training camp if he can't do it this year.
So and lastly, and there's so much more to get to, and we will.
We're just scratching the surface.
So stick with us in the next coming weeks because we got a lot more to talk about. And the Godchild thing. What the hell are they paying this guy for,
Chris? I think that they did that. I think they did that so they have that position filled for a couple of years. The way they spread the money out with the cap, it's probably whatever the overall contract is. It's probably cheap, right?
Yeah, they gave Javon Godchow an extension for those of you who don't.
And Belichick said he loves him. So I don't know.
Well, they were one of the worst run defenses in football last year, especially after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
4.6 a carry. So we'll see. And the reason why they had to do that, Mark, was because in the draft they didn't bring somebody in.
No, they didn't.
Now they were forced to have to do it. So again, a lot to unwrap, a lot more. Mark, speaking of the Patriots and speaking of football, right? Joe, just play it. Go ahead. Yes.
I
We're
can't
back.
wait. Cannot wait.
Teaser.
The Pats Nation Real Deal post-game show, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching, is back for another season. And make sure you tune in 30 minutes following every Patriots game. Mark and I are going to be there, Joe as well, to break down the game. And you want to see meltdowns? Come to that.
We got a lot of surprises this year for you.
Oh, yeah. And so September 11th, when they take on Miami down in Miami, will be our first go-around with this. So 30 minutes following every Patriots game, the Pats Nation, all of you in the nation, we can't wait. Look how excited Mark is right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Boys and gentlemen, it's that time again. It flew by as always. Thank you, guys, and thank you, all of you out there in the nation, for joining us. And, hey, get on this week. Take a look at all of our shows are up, everything, even the Superstition show and our finale and everything else for the summer. Get on, watch, subscribe, click on those links. Give us that thumbs up, follow us, and make sure and come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking more about training camp as we get ready for preseason games. Mark, that's right around the corner now.
Right around the corner.
Preseason
Yeah,
games,
right
so we'll
around the
see.
corner.
And more Yankees, Red Sox. We'll see if the Red Sox do
Well,
anything.
we play Giants game 1.
Giants game 1. Yeah, I think that's August
11th? August 11th.
I want to say August 11th. So a couple of weeks. That'll be coming. So make sure you come back. We'll talk Yankees, Red Sox, anything you want to discuss. Make sure you bring it to the table, have a take, because we are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. See you next Saturday.